I've seen the future.
Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid, and it is the week of January the 22nd. And this week's Oracle card reading and lesson is coming from Wisdom of the Avalon, my very first deck that I created years ago, and still one of my favorites. So remember, we're doing a prescriptive reading. We're looking at the energies that all of us are going to be affected by this week, and it gives us something to think about. So at the very least, if you just look at this as, oh, that's interesting, this is something I can think about and apply to my life. This is always about the highest good. That's the only question that I ask them to answer. What can we all learn for our highest good working with the energies of this week? So let's start. The anchor card this week is the Stag. Now, the Stag is about pride and leadership. To be a good leader in your life, no matter where you are, you have to learn how to set good boundaries. And when you set good boundaries, not everybody likes it, which makes sense because the next card is disruption. The truth is that when we set boundaries and we are very clear about those boundaries, everybody knows where they stand. And if they're too wishy-washy and we don't stick to our guns, then people will either take advantage of you or nobody knows where you stand, right? Then you get enmeshed or codependent, etc. So we are allergic to that. This week, we are allergic to codependency, and we want to lead in our lives in a really healthy, respectful way. So disruption is the next card. You know, when you are repotting a plant, I use this analogy in Oracle school all the time. Imagine that you've got a plant and it's outgrown its pot and it needs to be replanted in a bigger pot. So when you take the plant out, you have to disrupt it at where it's at in order for it to expand in this bigger pot. It's not pleasant for the plant. You usually see the plant go into shock sometimes, and it takes a bit for that to actually, settle down. So a lot of the times as you learn to set healthier boundaries with people and learn to say no, and also it's not even about saying no, it's also just about being really open and communicative about how you want to be in the world and being really rigorously honest and full of integrity, which is also what the Stag means. Then you're going to notice sometimes that there's going to be some disruption, either by other people who don't want to respect your boundaries, or just in yourself as you learn to stand up for yourself a little bit more and tell your truth. Now, the frog is about emotional cleansing. Okay, so what happens? We have to do some cleansing. So it obviously means this week that many of us are going to have to rethink how we interact with other people, what the meaning of our boundaries are, and also to clean house, and especially the emotions that go alongside of the disruption that happens as we up-level ourselves. The Fire Fairy is a fantastic card at the end because that is the card of optimism and inspiration and creativity. So even though this week could make us question our relationships with other people and how we lead in our world, it will also bring us an opportunity to clear the air. This is also about just cleaning house. How important is it, to keep the drama going? And then, of course, the last one is there's so much optimism and goodwill when you're willing to say, no more, I'm moving on, I feel really good, and I want to be open to my partnership with the universe so I can be inspired, which is where creativity comes from, is this inspiration, to be the right kind of leader in my life. And that means your own personal sovereignty is what we're talking about. All right, wait, before I forget, I almost forgot. We're going to do a postcard from Spirit. So those were the Wisdom of Avalon cards, and now a postcard from Spirit for this week says this. Remember our 2 cents from heaven, here it comes. Over here, there is no mystery for us to unravel, as we know intimately how connected we all are, how the web of creation works, and how spirit is in every aspect of life, from the invisible to the visible. But it's impossible for humans to comprehend the complexities of how things actually work, because the most important threads in the tapestry don't make sense in the dimension you live in. That said, can you feel the importance of these currents of energy that bring events together in miraculous ways? You can't understand with your mind, but you can know with your heart and soul. Trust that even though you don't know the how, the what, or the why, we do. Surrender to the mystery and have faith that the unseen world is watching you with loving eyes as Spirit weaves your life's mysterious and beautiful tapestry in glorious Technicolor. Loving you so much, as always. When you think about it, when we struggle in our life, we forget forget that we're part of this extraordinary bigger picture of things. And we also forget that our partnership with Spirit, with the conscious universe, the universe, whatever you want to call it, divine matrix, God, is always on. We just have to know how to open up. So I'm going to say this to you: anything is possible when you open your connection to the universe. And I mean it. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video. Anyway, share it with your friends and don't forget to leave a comment. I love to read them. And if you want to go over to Facebook, well, every single day on Facebook, I have something called the Daily Oracle. So you can check it out over there. If you like the cards, you can go over and see what the weather report is every single day. At least, again, at the very least, let it give you something to think about how to be a better person in the world at large. See you next week.
I've seen the future. It's beautiful.